Hello, everyone, and welcome to my fall tarot party 3.0. So, hello, please take a moment to say hello, introduce yourself in the chat, let me know where you're from. I'm super excited to be here to do some fun one card tarot readings for you today. It is quite chilly where I am. I've got my sweater on. I can feel that sort of fall crispness in the air. And I just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. I don't know if anyone here was for my was at the live that I attempted to do on Wednesday, but it was a complete disaster. I had issues with my microphone not working. I had to end the live, and then I started a new one, got my microphone working, and then I just froze up and people couldn't hear me or see me. So if that happens, it might happen because I think the issue might be something to do with my laptop. If that happens this time, I'm just going to start a new stream. I've got my iPad here, so I'm going to if anything goes wrong, I'll just start a new screen with a new device. So just letting you know. Hello, Judy. Hello, Judy. Welcome, Dr. Anise. Hello. Welcome, Kimberly. Hi. All right. So I've got 3 different decks here that I'm going to read from. I might switch between different decks. So I've got the Genius Garden Tarot by Jessie Huntenberg, which I'm really liking. I've got the This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman, also really enjoying this deck. And I have a new deck called Tarot of the Great Outdoors that I just got in the mail, and I haven't read with it yet. All the cards are still in order. I'm going to do an unboxing video of this deck, but I might unbox it early during this live and do some practice readings with it. Hello, welcome everybody. Hello, welcome Bonnie. Hello, Namrata, Meredith, Sheila. Smiling is contagious. Yes, praying your internet continues to work. Yeah, hopefully it does. Oh, hello from Iceland. Oh, great. Okay. Oh, Bonnie, you said you've signed up for my class. Woo, Bonnie, thank you. That reminds me, I should let everyone know, if you're interested, I am going to be teaching a 4-week intuitive tarot course starting next week. So Tuesday is the last day to sign up for it. It's 4 weeks of intuitive tarot fun. It's a really fun course. So if you're wanting to get better and more comfortable with using your intuition to read the cards, and if you're just wanting like a new way to relate to your cards and to approach readings, then you might be interested in my course. So I'm going to put the link to my course in the chat if anyone wants to check it out. And yeah, okay, just posting it now. And if anyone has any questions for me about my course, I'm happy to answer. So Natalia says, your last course was amazing. Is this a new one or the same class? I don't know, Natalia. I don't know what class you took. I have 2 main courses. One I teach in the fall, which is this one, the intuitive one. And then I teach a course on reading tarot for others that I usually teach in the spring. So I don't know which one it was that you took. Let me know, and then I'll tell you if they're both very different classes. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Genius Garden Tarot. And I'm just going to give my deck a little bit of a shuffle. I'm just reading some of the comments, some of the questions. So yeah, if you want me to draw a card for you, let me know. And if you have a question for the tarot, you can type your question, or if you just want me to pull a general card, that's totally fine too. Hello, Martina. You're in Ireland right now. What time is it in Ireland? 7 o'clock, maybe? I think it's in the evening there. Okay, so I'm going to start with Dr. Anise says, what should I focus on to increase my services sales? Okay. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to draw one general card for all of us, and then I'm going to answer Dr. Anis's question. So I'm going to draw a general card for all of us. What do we need to see right now? What do we need to know? Ooh, Three of Wands. Okay. So here we've got the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is really, it comes after the Two of Wands, obviously. And the Two of Wands is all about contemplation and kind of just pausing and giving yourself some time to kind of contemplate things and figure out, okay, where am I going to put my energy next? The Three of Wands comes after that. And this is kind of what happens after you make your decision and put your energy into something. And I often see this card as the manifestation card. So you've made a decision, you've put your energy into something, some time has passed, and then you've either manifested what you've wanted or you've manifested something different, which might be better or it might not at all be what you intended. So Three of Wands is really about taking stock of things and taking a look around and seeing things as, okay, this is the result of some of these things that I'm noticing in my life are the result of my efforts, for better or worse. And then that kind of gives you, it gives you sort of feedback on how things are going for you. And do you need to make changes? Do you need to uh, change up anything? Do you need to change course? Are you happy with how things are unfolding? It's kind of about sort of checking in, but again, I kind of want to emphasize this as a card of manifestation. And I think also the message I get from this card is really giving yourself credit for what you have managed to create in your life. Giving yourself credit for that, because I think sometimes we forget to do this. You know, we tend to fixate on what do I not have right now? What am I wanting? You know, what isn't working out? And sometimes we forget to kind of pat ourselves on the back for what we've what we've accomplished. Okay, so okay, nice. All right, so I'm gonna answer Dr. Anise. What should I focus on to increase my services sales? All right. Okay, so the card you got is Eight of Pentacles. All right, so Eight of Pentacles. Now this particular card in this deck is a little bit different than the Rider-Waite. So in the Rider-Waite deck shows someone working at a workbench, I think, working really hard. And here we have someone who's actually sitting still and just holding a pentacle. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate how I read a card that is a bit different in symbolism from the Rider-Waite deck, because I associate the Eight of Pentacles with working hard and putting in the time and putting in the effort. Yet here we have a slightly different symbol. This person doesn't appear to be striving, but they appear to be sitting in silence in this state of presence. So one thing I'll say about the Eight of Pentacles is that this is a card of patience. So Anise, you're asking, what should I focus on to increase my services sales? And it feels like the message of this card is saying, be patient and keep putting in the work, keep, doing it. I think of Eight of Pentacles as being about like doing all those little tasks, those day-to-day tasks to keep your business running. And they might be the kind of uninteresting, almost mundane tasks, but they're still really important. So it's kind of saying, keep plodding along, don't give up. Yet, as I look at this card, I see this woman is sitting there almost in meditation, but she's holding the pentacle like this, and she's kind of like looking at it with like a soft gaze. At least that's kind of what it looks like here. And so I feel like this isn't, and actually there's a little like gardening tool she has, but it's on the ground in the background. She's not using it. So the message here might be to just take a quick pause. This isn't about stepping back and taking a big break. It's like, just take a pause and contemplate what is it that you're trying to do? Because sometimes we get so caught up in our businesses and trying to make our businesses work that we sometimes lose sight of why we got into that business in the first place. And like what's important to us? What are our heart-based values? What is it that we're trying to do? What are we trying to help people with? So Eight of Pentacles is about taking a moment to kind of come back to that place, that heart-centered place of, what's your purpose? What are you trying to do? Because it's almost like if you keep trying to promote your business and you're trying to make sales, but you're doing it from a place of not necessarily panic, but you're just like, trying to trying to keep the business running. Eight of Pentacles, I feel, is about getting quiet within yourself, being really present, and trying to find, trying to offer your services in a different kind of way, in a more calm, centered, present way, kind of getting back to, what your values are, why you got into the work that you're doing in the first place. So that's what I'm getting from the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Okay, Tammy M. May I have a card today, please? Okay. And welcome, Gary. Gary from New Zealand. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to pull a card for Tammy. All right. So the card you got, Tammy, is Eight of Swords. All right. So Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords can sometimes come up when we're feeling a bit stuck, but also when we feel there's almost a claustrophobic feeling with this card. As I'm looking at it, I see there's all these swords around her, but they're quite close around her and they're on her dress. They're kind of keeping her pinned down and they're kind of close. And I just feel this feeling of being kind of like fenced in and feeling like there's not a lot of breathing room, like there's not a lot of room to maneuver. And so sometimes Eight of Swords can come up just to sort of show you or to reflect how you might be feeling. So I'm curious, I'm going to ask you, Tammy, does this resonate? And it's okay if it doesn't, just let me know if this doesn't resonate with how you're feeling. Have you been feeling really stuck lately, or like there's not a lot of breathing room? Let me know. Oh, yes, correct. Okay. So yes, that does resonate for you. All right. So what is it trying to tell you, though, other than that's how you're feeling? So Eight of Swords, okay, you're feeling very stuck. All right. So as I look at this card, I'm noticing there's all these swords on it, but she's reaching for one sword. And when I first looked at the card, I saw all the swords as keeping her stuck, as things that are holding her down. And then the second time I looked at the sword, I noticed she was reaching for one of them. I noticed that it's quite possible that there's more options and more opportunities at your fingertips than you realize. And it might involve a little bit of a mindset shift. So the Eight of Swords, it sometimes comes up, not just when we're feeling stuck, but when the way we see ourselves and our situation doesn't necessarily reflect reality. So it could be that you truly, there's lots going on for you perhaps, and you are stuck, and that might be true, but you might notice yourself having a tendency to almost magnify certain issues and start to believe that the things that are keeping you stuck are insurmountable and you just can't see a way out. So this is more about your perception of things as well. And it's saying that, and actually, if you look at this, you'll notice she's surrounded by these swords, but there's this big gap right here. So she's not really stuck. And it's just her dress that's stuck, her cloak. she could take that cloak off and walk away. So at first we're like, oh, she's really stuck here. But then you're like, oh, actually, not really that stuck when you look more closely. And so I invite you to play around with that idea, Tammy. Just saying to yourself, maybe I'm not as stuck as I think I am. And then what happens when you say that to yourself? When you're like, even though I feel really stuck right now, maybe I'm not as stuck as I think. And if I wasn't as stuck as I think I am, what would be different? How might I move forward? And just kind of playing around with that idea, like maybe repeating that affirmation to yourself, like maybe I'm not as stuck as I think I am. And then once you kind of start to, and that's an easy thought to believe, I think, because it's not like you're going from thinking you're stuck to thinking, oh, I have all these opportunities, everything's great, because that's a really big jump. But just going from thinking, okay, I'm really stuck right now, to like, but maybe I'm not as stuck as I think I am. And just keep telling yourself that, every day for like a week or two, and see if something starts to shift. Do you start getting ideas for things? Because I think once you kind of uh, shift that mindset, it puts your brain in a slightly different state, and you're more open to ideas and solutions that you might not otherwise be if you're really fixated on feeling stuck. Okay. Um, Okay, good. This is my new mantra. Yes, perfect. Okay, Meredith, how can I help my daughter find her way? All right. Okay, so Meredith, the card I got for you is Two of Pentacles. I like that these cards aren't super shiny, because then they don't they don't have weird reflections when I hold them up. Okay, Two of Pentacles. So I'm not sure yet how to answer your question. How can I help my daughter find her way? Um, so when I look at the Two of Pentacles, I think of, it looks like there's these two pentacles in the air, and I think of balance. I think of sort of juggling different things. The Two of Pentacles highlights a couple of things. So it highlights this importance of creating balance in your life. And it also highlights the importance of being in the flow. So when you're in the flow, your life can be hectic, it can be busy. But if you're kind of tuned into your own energy and you're in the flow of things, you're able to be flexible. You're able to go with the flow. So I don't know if you've ever had, uh, and I'll link this back to your question, but I don't know if you've ever had moments in your life where you've had a lot on your plate, but you seem to be thriving, and you meet the right people at the right time, you get the right ideas at the right time. And even though you're doing a lot and you're busy and there's a lot of demands, things are just flowing, things are just working out. And then there's the opposite of that, where and I've had this experience where I maybe don't even have a lot of demands or a lot going on in my life, and it seems like everything is going wrong, and I'm running into roadblocks and challenges left, right, and center. And that is when I'm, out of the flow. I've somehow disconnected myself from the flow, and I'm no longer going with the flow. I feel like I'm swimming upstream. So let's come back to your original question, which was, how can I think, support my daughter? How can I help my daughter find her way? And I feel like it's not so much that there's anything specific that you need to do to help your daughter. It's more about being that sort of balanced, stable presence in her life, and kind of modeling that energy. Like, the more balanced you are, the more tuned into your own flow you are, the more you can be flexible and go with the flow. It's almost like you'll be a very strong, grounded presence in your daughter's life. And that might be really, really helpful for her. Um, and so, a question I have for you is, how can you get in the flow? How can you go with the flow? How can you create more balance in your life? And what kinds of things bring you out of balance? Like, worrying about your daughter might kind of bring you out of balance. Stressing about, what can I do to help my daughter? I don't know what to do. That might kind of bring you out of balance. So just kind of playing around with that idea. It's like, what helps me get into the flow of life? What helps me stay balanced? And it's almost like just you being that balanced presence is helpful for her. It's not like there's anything specific that you need to do. So I don't know if that makes sense, but thank you for letting me read for you. Okay. Because when I look at this card, like the background, there's the water and it's kind of rough. It looks like rough seas. And I think it's the Rider-Waite deck. I'm not sure, but I think there's like boats in the background. And so it kind of shows that things might be like kind of tumultuous right now for your daughter, but the better you are at modeling balance and going with the flow and going with those ups and downs, the more of a supportive presence you can be. Okay. So Melissa, you said, feeling lost, what's my next move? What's ahead? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so Melissa, you're feeling lost and you want to know what your next move is. So the card we have is, the Devil. Okay, so this makes sense. In some ways, I think this is kind of maybe reflecting how you're feeling. So I'll just show you this card, give you a good look. So this is an interesting Devil card. It looks like this woman is a tree and she's like frustrated. So when the Devil comes up in a reading, it's often because you're feeling kind of powerless and you're wanting to get back to a place of feeling empowered, feeling strong, feeling sure of yourself. And it might feel right now like you're kind of stuck in this repetitive loop where it feels like you're kind of spinning your wheels and you may feel confused or kind of disillusioned. And you said you're just sort of feeling lost. So you're wanting to know what's ahead. So the Devil is encouraging you to take a look at your habits. Is there any like addictions or habits that aren't working for you? Because that's what the Devil really represents. It represents cycles, patterns, or addictions that are kind of keeping you stuck and keeping you spinning your wheels and keeping you feeling kind of powerless or disempowered. And so when this card comes up, it's because you're actually really ready to look at some of those things. So ask yourself, is there any habits or patterns that maybe aren't working for me right now? And can you start to shift some of those habits and patterns and just start with one thing? Start with the thing that feels like it might be the easiest thing to shift or to change. Because I feel like you feeling lost might have to do with you sort of being in this repetitive cycle, this sort of pattern. And once you start to change the pattern, new avenues open up. New ideas will pop into your head, new visions, new insights, but it's like you've become a little bit stagnant and you need to like change the energy. You need to change the game. You need to change how you're doing things. And again, you can start small and then work your way up to making bigger changes. But once you start to change how you do things, you're going to start getting ideas, insights about how to move forward. So I hope that's helpful, Melissa, and thank you. Thanks for getting me to read for you. All right. Shalou says, will my booktube channel be successful? Okay, I don't know what booktube is. I guess that's like YouTube for books, where you talk about books. I'll have to check that out. Okay. So, will Shalou's booktube channel be successful? All right, so we got 10 of Pentacles. So this is a lovely card to get. I'm going to just go right ahead and say, yes, it will be successful. But let's have a closer look and see what else we can get from this card. Okay, it seems like people are going to want what it is that you're offering. And as long as you stay in touch with that, this idea, with your booktube channel, this idea that you're providing something for others that they're going to want. Like, and I'll tell you why I say that. So I immediately noticed this basket of pentacles, and the person holding the basket is kind of offering it. And then we have all these kind of hands reaching and hands offering, and there's a lot of interest. And so I think if you create content for your channel with this idea in mind, like creating content for other people to really enjoy and to create content that other people are going to really want to engage with. And I think 10 of Pentacles is also a card of community, and it's a card of legacy sometimes. But I feel like if you start your channel with this idea of creating a community, not just starting a channel, but creating a community, and this idea that you're creating content for that community, I think that you can't go wrong. So good luck to you. All right. So Merlin says, please pull one card for me, work related. Okay. Okay, so Merlin, the card you got here is Two of Swords. And I know you posted a comment earlier, and I'm just going to scroll up and see what you posted, because it was something about your job. Oh, no, you just said I have a work-related question. Okay. So if you want to ask me the specific question, you can post it. But otherwise, if you just want me to speak about work issues, I can do that too. The Two of Swords makes me think of having to make a decision, and having to make a decision in maybe a different way than you are used to making decisions. So you'll notice when you look at this card, there's a big, giant, open third eye under her forehead. And this really represents using your intuition to look at a situation, and using your intuition to kind of feel your way forward and make a decision. And I think perhaps in the past, you've been more comfortable using your intellect and your mind to make a decision. You've gathered information, you've weighed the pros and cons, you've looked at a situation rationally and made a decision based on that. But it feels like with this work-related issue, and you said it has to do with the future at your job. Okay, so I think that you're going to have to make some decisions coming up. And it may require you to make those decisions based on intuition, only because you may not have the information that you need at your fingertips to make an informed decision. So you're kind of forced to really kind of use your intuition. The Two of Swords is really about sort of almost being at a crossroads and kind of two different paths. And so you said this is about the future at your job. So I'm thinking one path would be continuing on at your job. One might be not doing that job anymore. And it feels like it feels like the card is really advising you to go inward and ask yourself what you really want and where is your intuition guiding you? Where is your intuition moving you? Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Sorry, I couldn't give a more like specific specific reading. But that's what I'm getting. So hopefully that was helpful. All right. Okay. Melissa, you said, I've been following you for a while right now. I wish I wasn't at the doctor's so that I can continue to listen. Oh, well, you can watch the replay. I know that's not as exciting as watching it live. All right. Okay, I'm just scrolling up to see what other questions there are. All right. Sheila asks, how can I help my love relationship? All right. And that was just my cat opening the door behind me. I don't have ghosts in the room. Don't worry. Okay. How can I help my love relationship, Sheila? All right. 5 of Pentacles. Oh, okay. So what I'm noticing with the 5 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles traditionally, like if I was reading from the Rider-Waite deck, the 5 of Pentacles is traditionally a card of lack and feeling a lack of something. So based on that, you might be feeling in your relationship like there's something really lacking. And of course, you said, how can I help my love relationship? So I think it's safe to assume that there's probably something lacking, something going on, but it feels like, yeah, there's something lacking. Someone's not getting their needs met. Maybe both people in this relationship aren't getting their needs met. But when I look at this particular card, I'm struck by the fact that there's this big hand, and it looks like the hand is like releasing all these pentacles into the air. So in some ways, I feel like this is a card of letting go. And because you're asking, how can I help my relationship? I'm just gonna assume that you want you want to stay in that relationship. So looking at this, I feel like this card is asking you, what can you let go of? Because it almost feels like you might be like really gripping on this relationship and trying to make things work and trying to do certain things. And it feels like by letting go a little bit, by letting go of that, you take the pressure off. So I'll just throw some ideas out there. It might be letting go of your ideals or having your relationship look a certain way or be a certain way. It might be about just letting go in a very general way in your life, like how can you relax more? How can you kind of let go of expectations just in general? And when you're more relaxed in general, that, is going to help your relationship. But is there anything within your relationship that you would like to let go of, or you would like to kind of release your grip on? and just kind of contemplating that for a little bit because it almost feels like less is more. And sometimes I think we can help our relationships by doing more and doing specific things. But with this card, it's almost like, no, releasing certain things, letting go of certain things is actually going to be more helpful for the relationship. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Oh, this is an interesting question. What was the most exact and surprising prediction you ever made with tarot? So I'm not a real predictive reader, and I usually don't attempt to make predictions with my cards. I would say the most interesting reading I did was for a woman who is trying to decide whether or not to have children. And she was kind of weighing the pros and cons. And I did a reading for her, and so many of the cards were what I would think of as like pregnancy cards. Like there is the Empress, and I forget what deck I was using, but in the deck that I was using, the Empress was depicted as being pregnant. And then I think she also got like Queen of Cups and uh, some other card. It was like so many cards that made me think of motherhood. And so I didn't really tell her what to do one way or the other, but I said that there was a strong, like, mothering, nurturing energy with a lot of these cards. And so these cards were really saying, like, motherhood is there for you as an option if that's what you want. It's coming through quite strongly. And then I found out uh, only a week later that she was, in fact, pregnant when she got that reading, and she didn't know it. She had no clue, and she found out like a week later and was like, "Oh my god!" And she thought that the reading was so on point for her, and I agree. And I thought that was really interesting that neither of us knew that she was pregnant, but the cards really showed that. So that was probably the most kind of interesting sort of predictive kind of experience I've had with the cards. Okay, Kimberly, I'm going to pull a card for you. You said, may I please have a card for managing change and the unknown? Okay. So Kimberly, for you, I have 10 of Cups. All right, beautiful. So managing change and the unknown. So what strikes me with this card is that we have 3 generations on this card. We have the little baby hand, the slightly bigger hand, and then the full-grown adult hand. And it just makes me think of like 3 generations and generational wisdom and this idea of, our ancestors with their wisdom, passing their wisdom down to us. So for your question, managing change and the unknown, I feel like there's people in your life that have wisdom, and these might be older people with more, they may be family or not family, it doesn't really matter, but these are people that are probably older than you who've experienced big changes in their lives, and they've had a lot of experiences with confronting the unknown. And I think sometimes we forget that there's people in our lives who've navigated these same challenges that we're dealing with, and that they would love to sort of offer insights and not even necessarily advice, but maybe advice and just sharing kind of what their experience was. And so I think that there's a lot that we can learn by being open with others in our lives and sharing what's going on, and just asking some of the older people or the people that you consider to be wise in your life, sort of saying to them, like, I'm really dealing with a lot of change and a lot of unknown. And have you dealt with that in your life? And like, what helped you? And just kind of networking, gathering information, gathering different ideas. And of course, what helped one person might not be helpful for you. But when you hear enough people talk about their experiences with change and their experiences facing the unknown, there's a lot that I think we can learn from each other. So that's what's really standing out to me, is like reaching out to others, not trying to navigate this all on your own and trying to figure this out all on your own, but reaching out to others for sure. And then also 10 of Cups to me is a card of dreams coming true. And I think sometimes when we're on the precipice of, facing the unknown and all of these changes, it can be helpful to really connect with our hearts and ask ourselves, what are my dreams? What's my vision? What's my best case scenario? What direction would I like to go in? What would I like to create? What do I want to manifest more of? How would I like my relationships to be? Just to kind of, I find sometimes that helps you kind of get on track. It helps you kind of get your bearings so that even if you're in a very unstable and not necessarily unstable, but what's the word? If you're in a place where like things are shifting and changing, nothing's staying the same, your dreams usually do stay the same. So that can act as like this sort of stable thing that you can moor yourself to during those times of shift and growth. So getting back in touch with like what's important to me, what do I want to create, what direction do I want to go in, can be helpful. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to answer a question from Preeti from India. Can you please pull a card for me? I'm pursuing tarot and want to know my journey. All right. Okay, so I'll pull a card for Preeti. All right, Four of Pentacles. Okay. All right. So you're pursuing tarot and you want to know your journey. All right, so Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is often a card of conserving things. So some cards really encourage us to get out there and share things and be, outgoing. Whereas the Four of Pentacles is a more introverted card. It's about really kind of conserving your energies. So what I get with this, and I'll talk about the specific card and some of the symbolism on it as well. But what I get here is that and I don't know where you are in your tarot journey, if you're still learning the basics, if you just got into learning about tarot, or if you're wanting to start doing professional readings. But what I get from the Four of Pentacles is, and I think if you're thinking about reading professionally, I feel like the Four of Pentacles is saying there's still more work that needs to be done. I think building a strong foundation in your tarot studies is important. And here I'll talk about this specific card. So he's standing on one pentacle. That's his foundation. And then the other three pentacles are on his back. On his back. And so I feel like building a strong foundation in your tarot studies is most important right now. And that might mean sort of not necessarily sequestering yourself, but I think being more inward focused might be a big theme here. And I feel like maybe you're not ready yet to branch out and start sharing your tarot gifts with others just quite yet. You still have that foundation to build. Does that make sense? It feels like that's most important. If you can turn inward and build a really strong relationship with the tarot and a strong learning foundation, then that really sets you up for success later on. But you don't want to rush it. You don't want to get outside of your comfort zone too soon. And this is the tricky thing, I think, with learning tarot for people who want to start reading professionally, is if you wait until you feel ready, you might be waiting a very long time. But at the same time, you don't want to start reading professionally like way before you're ready. Like there's a middle ground to be had. I think the idea of getting out there and reading for other people is always going to be a little bit daunting. But at the same time, you want to give yourself enough time and space to really get acquainted with the tarot cards and comfortable with them before you start doing that. So I hopefully that was helpful. Okay. All right. Okay, this is an interesting question. When I do a reading for myself, I keep getting the same message again and again, but nothing like that seems to be showing up in real life currently. What does that mean? Yeah, so I think, and I've had this happen as well with tarot readings. So I think sometimes what happens is things change for us on the energetic plane before they're manifested on the physical plane. And so sometimes when you're doing a reading, maybe you're asking about, like, just for example, maybe you're asking about your career. Maybe your career is really unfulfilling and you're asking about your career, and you get all these cards that suggest that things are going to change, things are going to be really great, but it's not happening. And you do another reading a month later and you get the same messages, but yet it's not happening in your real life. Sometimes it takes a bit of time for what's happening in the energetic world to catch up or to show up in the physical world. So that's one, possibility as to why your readings don't reflect what's going on in your actual life. That's, yeah, I'm just going to reread that. And I think also, like you said, when I do a reading for myself, I keep getting the same message again and again, but nothing that seems to be showing up in real life. I think also sometimes we assume we know what the cards are trying to say if we don't look beneath the surface. So I would also encourage you to kind of look beneath the surface of the cards to see, well, okay, what are they actually saying to me? And there's all different techniques for doing that. Now, this is a good point where I can plug my course. So my upcoming 4-week intuitive tarot course, I will teach you how to sort of look at the cards and find the sort of deeper kind of hidden meaning in the cards. Because I think that there's, like, I'll give you an example. Like, okay, let's take the 10 of Swords. We look at the 10 of Swords and initially we look at this card and think, oh, this is bad. Okay, this is about being stuck. This is about things not working out. This is about failure and being stabbed in the back, or in this case, stabbed in the front. But there's more to this than that. We can look at this card and find the deeper meaning. And the deeper meaning that you get will really depend on your intuition and what's going on for you in your life, because the cards speak to us in a very personal way. So if I were to look at this card and try to get the deeper message of this card, I might sit with this card for a moment and start to notice, like, what is the first symbol that jumps out at me? And the first symbol is, like, I can't not notice all the swords stuck in her. Like, that just looks really painful and horrible and dramatic. But then the other thing I'm noticing is that she's wearing a white dress and there's no blood. So is she really as stuck as she thinks? So that's also what I'm kind of noticing. And then I might ask myself, okay, she's really stuck with 10 swords. How am I feeling stuck right now? And I might kind of explore that a little bit. And then I'll keep looking at this card and I'll think, okay, what else am I noticing on this card? Well, I'm noticing the burst of sunlight in the background, which probably isn't visible to you because it's very subtle. I don't think my camera is really picking it up well. But I'm noticing, like, right in the background, there's this big yellow burst of sunlight. And it's like, well, what could that mean? So there's different ways of, like, engaging and interacting with the cards that can really yield some more helpful results than just looking at the card at face value and going with whatever the book meaning is. I feel like that's kind of a shallow way of reading tarot, and it only gets you so far. But when you know how to kind of engage your intuitive brain and your creativity in reading the cards, it helps you get to a different place. It helps you get different messages, more helpful messages, I think. So I teach all kinds of these sorts of techniques in my upcoming 4-week course. So I'll just post a link to my course if anyone's interested in checking it out. It starts next week, and the last day to sign up is Tuesday. So I hope I see a lot of you there. It's a very fun course. If anyone has any questions about it, I'm happy to answer it. Okay. Kimberly, you said acupuncture, laugh out loud. Yeah, this is definitely an acupuncture card for sure. Okay. Danielle, you said, I've been getting psychic hits about future relationship for months now. Any insights into coming months for romance? Okay, let's pull a card. Let's shuffle the deck and pull a card for you. See what's coming up for you romance-wise. Okay, so Danielle, the card I have for you is, oh, 3 of Swords. Okay. So this is kind of an unromantic card to get. So it shows someone with a flaming heart, and it's pierced by 3 swords. So there's a lot to unpack here. I feel like it feels like your potential in the realm of romance and relationship is affected by something that could be grief related, or it could be something about a past relationship that you haven't fully healed from or let go of. The 3 of Swords often represents a need to heal an issue with the heart. So some sort of heartbreak, some sort of disappointment, and it might be feeling heartbroken and disappointed about a past relationship. It could also be feeling disappointed with yourself about something. But there's some sort of heartache or grief, emotional pain that wants to be healed first before you welcome a new person into your life. You don't have to be perfectly healed and completely free of any pain or sorrow in order to have a relationship. I'm not saying that, but there's perhaps a wound of the heart that wants to be tended to. It wants your attention. It might even just want your acknowledgement. Simply acknowledging something is sometimes enough to bring healing to that issue. So that's something to consider. So you said any insights into the coming months for romance? It almost feels like I almost feel like there's some healing that you still need to do when it comes to the relationship you have with yourself, perhaps, and really nurturing yourself, giving yourself that love, attention, and care. And that's really going to set you up for, attracting a good relationship in the future. So that's what I'm getting from this card. It's interesting because you said you've been getting psychic hits about a future relationship, but it's been happening for months now. So it's almost like that wonderful relationship in the future is there for you, but some self-healing needs to happen first for you to get to that next step. All right. Blissful One would love a card. Okay. All right, Blissful One. Let's shuffle the deck. I think I might experiment with a new deck after this. Might go to the Tarot of the Great Outdoors. Okay, so Blissful One, your card is the Magician. Nice. This is a really cool card to get. Okay, so the Magician is primarily a card of manifestation and really stepping into your power. And it's also a card of alignment. So aligning your goals, what you say you want, what you think you want with your actions and your energy and your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings. But ultimately, it's telling you that you have the power to take an idea or a vision and make that manifest in the physical world, bring that down from the realm of ideas and possibilities and actually make something happen. Now, of course, this is going to require taking focused action. It's going to require really focusing your mind, focusing your energy, focusing your emotions. That's really kind of the secret to manifesting and making things happen. But the magician shows that you have this power of manifestation available to you. And now is really a powerful time to start stepping into your power. So I hope that resonates. Okay, so I'm going to open this new deck, and I just want to show you some cards from this deck. It's called the Tarot for the Great Outdoors. Has anyone here heard of this tarot deck or maybe worked with it before? It's very beautiful. It's a new deck. I think it just came out. So this is what the box looks like. And it is by, J.Q. Gordon is the creator, and the artwork is by Charisse Staber. So I love the box. I think the box is super cute. And I'm going to do a full unboxing video of this one on my channel, so you'll get to see all the cards. But the card backs look like this, which is so pretty. I just love that. And the artwork is just delicious. It's just so beautiful. Lots of like nature scenes. It's very, very bright and colorful and happy and magical. And yeah, it's lovely. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle the cards. So Judy, you said I would love a reading from the new deck, please. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for Judy. So Judy, the card you got is, the Sun. Nice. Okay, I'm going to try to hold the card so that my camera picks it up properly. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about the Sun. And the national park that it shows is the Acadian National Park. So the Sun is a major arcana card, and it really is kind of the most brilliant, positive, warm, sunshiny, optimistic card in the tarot. So this is a really lovely card to get. So the Sun is encouraging you to really lean into your optimistic side. And it says that there's a lot of power in choosing optimistic and positive thoughts, and also leaning into your more extroverted side. When I look at the Sun, it's radiating light, heat, energy. It's radiating outwards. What is it that you're radiating outwards? So really leaning into your more extroverted side, asking yourself, what do I want to share with others? What do I have to offer to others? What am I wanting to share? And there's also a playful energy with the Sun. It's also encouraging you to lean into your more playful energy, not to take life too seriously, but to really take advantages of opportunities to play and experiment and have fun. And then the other thing I'm struck by is that when I look at this card, I see this beautiful radiant sun, and there's these people that are just kind of sitting on the rocks, sort of watching it, kind of sitting back. And so while I did tell you to lean into your more extroverted side, the sun is telling you that there's not really anything that you must do in this moment. So this isn't about taking action or doing something or being busy. It's about being able to sit back and observe things. And it's more about your state of mind and your state of being is most important right now. So fixating more on that as opposed to actions will be helpful. Actions are very important, but if you first get into a really positive, warm state of mind or state of being, then the actions you take from there are going to naturally be positive actions. Naturally, those are going to be good actions. But if you fixate more on just actions and doing things without thinking about what's my energy like, how am I feeling mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then sometimes those actions can lead you astray or create further chaos. So sun is really encouraging you to kind of sit back, chill out, and really cultivate kind of a warm, sunny, optimistic perspective. All right. So Therese, you said, I just got a reading today, and the reader said, I'm in my Queen Emperor. The lady was on a throne and a white dress and a white bunny. And I just wanted to get more information because I don't really understand. Okay, so let me know what did you do not understand? It sounds like she said you're in your Queen Emperor and you're just not sure what that means. I'm thinking it means, like, if I was reading for you and I got the card you're describing sounds like Queen of Pentacles. So if I was doing a reading for you and I got that card, yeah, I think Queen of Pentacles, it's a card of confidence and kind of stepping into your power and being confident and all of that, being on your throne, stepping into your power. And I'm just assuming that it was the Queen of Pentacles that came up in your reading. I don't know for sure, but Queen of Pentacles is often a card of, I think of it as like a card of being really good at like taking care of yourself and taking care of your life and your business and your finances and your health, and like making sure everything is running smoothly, and paying attention to those little things and really kind of nurturing yourself. It's a card of nurturing as well. I don't know if that makes things any clearer for you. Maybe not. All right. Blissful One says, Kate, are you in PST time? Yes, I think it's PD time right now because I don't think clocks have changed yet. So I think it's PD time. And yes, I am. Okay. Jabby says, I've been feeling uninspired at work right now. How or what can I do to change this feeling? All right. So I'm going to shuffle my cards again. So how can you feel more inspired at work? Okay. 8 of Stones. All right. I know these cards are quite detailed, and I don't know if my camera is really focusing on them enough to show you all the beautiful details, but this shows a girl watering her garden, and then there's 2 older people that are kind of watching on the sidelines. So 8 of Stones, also known as 8 of Pentacles, this is really a card of working towards something, putting in the time, putting in the energy. You said you've been feeling uninspired, and that could be because the work you're doing right now is very kind of mundane. It might be monotonous. And that's kind of what the Pentacles represents, is doing work. Like, here's this girl watering her garden. I know, like, a lot of people love gardening, but I do find it kind of tedious. You have to maintain the garden. So every day, if it's hot out, anyhow, you got to go out and you got to water, you got to pull weeds, you got to cut things back or whatever. And so it takes that daily maintenance. This is a card of daily maintenance and care. But your question wasn't, how do I feel about my job? It was, what can I do to change this feeling? So the Eight of Stones is really pointing to the power of nurturing. And when you nurture something and you feed something, more often than not, it grows into something. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you put time and energy into something and it just doesn't work out. But most of the time, when you really nurture something and feed something, it becomes bigger. So, what is it that you would like to nurture? What would you like to grow? What would you like more of in your job? So, you said you've been feeling uninspired, and I'm guessing you'd like to feel inspired. You'd like more to feel more of that. So, what kinds of things can you nurture? What can you put time into? What can you feed in order to increase that feeling of inspiration in your job? And this is also a card of patience. So it's saying, be patient. Be patient with yourself as you figure that out. So I know that was a little bit of a cop-out reading. You basically asked me, how can I feel more? I've been feeling uninspired. How can I change that? And I basically said, well, what do what makes you feel inspired? Focus on that. But yeah, it's like focus. I think sometimes we forget that we have this power in our ability to nurture things. And when we nurture something, we put our time and attention and energy into it. We spend time thinking about it. We have feelings about it. Like, that's how we nurture things. And we sometimes forget that we have that power and that it's so powerful when we want to change something or create something new. Focusing our power of nurturing on that thing really makes a difference. And sometimes I think we forget that we have that power. So this is just kind of a reminder. Meredith, you said, is it hard to shuffle that new deck? It sure sounds like you have no trouble doing it. Do you ever worry you will bend the cards? Okay, so this particular deck actually has very thin cardstock, which is quite bendy. It's super flexy and bendy, which isn't good because the cards are not going to be as durable long term. But the upside to that kind of cardstock is that it's super easy to shuffle and it feels really good to shuffle like a flexible deck. So that's the thing with thin cardstock, is it's not going to be as durable, but it sure feels nice to shuffle. So yeah, this is an easy deck to shuffle, and the cards aren't huge, so I don't have a hard time like getting my whole hand around the deck, which is nice. All right, so I think I'm going to do a couple more readings and then I'm going to wrap things up. I always find that after about an hour, my mind starts to kind of get frazzled and I start saying kind of loopy things. So I just want to prevent that from happening. All right. So there was one question about okay. Okay. Moji. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You said, I'm so confused about the right path with someone. Could you pull a card? Yes. Okay. So the card you got is the High Priestess. Nice. And the picture here is of the Glacier Bay National Park. All right. So let's talk about the High Priestess. The High Priestess is actually encouraging you to be a little bit mysterious, be a little bit secretive. You don't have to wear your heart on your sleeve. And I don't know if this is a romantic relationship you're asking about. You just said you're confused about the right path with someone. So the high priestess is saying, maintain a little mystery. You don't have to reveal everything to this person. You don't have to put your heart on your sleeve. You also don't have to be super secretive and coy and all that. But the high priestess is the kind of woman who is kind of mysterious. She reveals information when it's necessary, but she doesn't overshare. She's not one of those people that has her entire life online, and she doesn't, there's some people you meet and they immediately tell you all of this stuff about them, and you're just like, I don't need to know all this. The high priestess never does that. She tells you what you need to know when you need to know it. She's not cold and overly reserved, but she is a little bit mysterious. She doesn't tell you everything about her. So that's the first thing I get with this card. The second thing is that the high priestess, whenever she shows up in a reading, she's really encouraging you to move inward. She's encouraging you to activate your intuition, to meet your intuitive self. She's encouraging you to also kind of dip your toe into the more invisible, sacred, spiritual side of life. So making room for meditation, making room to touch that sacred, mysterious aspect of life. This could be keeping a dream journal and just spending time kind of contemplating your dreams each day or each week, or making that space to meditate, or even having some sort of practice, whether it's like a yoga practice, an art practice, a dance practice, something that allows you to kind of have a spiritual experience, to really kind of touch the sacred. And of course, your question was, I have this horrible habit of reading a question and then just going off on a tangent. So your original question was that you're confused about the right path with someone. So I think one way to alleviate that confusion would be to really nurture the relationship that you have with yourself, specifically your spiritual side. So you really want to put the time and the energy into maintaining some sort of spiritual practice, some way of going inward. When you do that, it's almost like you're going to feel a little more anchored and a little more expanded, so that you may feel less confused about this person and what path you have with this person. The high priestess is saying, don't lower your standards here. And you don't have to, don't lower your standards, really honor yourself, respect yourself. And also, you don't have to wear your heart on your sleeve. You don't have to reveal everything about yourself. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Lots of relationship questions I'm noticing. That's interesting. Okay, I think I'll do one more question and then I'm going to wrap up. And let's see. I'm just reading all the all the comments here. Any tips for improving our shuffling abilities? No, I have there's all different ways to shuffle the cards. I have my preferred method. So I like shuffling like this. Just like that. I can't do this technique where people go from the top. I have a hard time with that one. I also like this technique. Let's see if I can do this without dropping all the cards. So that's my favorite technique for shuffling. I don't have any tips for you though on improving. I think just practice. All right. Maria, can I have a card, please? Yes. Okay. So Maria, okay. So this will be, I think this will be my last reading. Let's see. Okay. So Maria, I'm going to draw a card for you. And your card is Page of Sticks. So Page of Wands. All right. So Page of Wands shows, looks like it's an art class. Someone's learning how to paint. Someone's learning a new skill. Now, the Page of Wands, I associate this card with creativity and learning how to tap into your creative side, but giving yourself permission to, and when I say creative side, I don't necessarily mean painting and artwork. It could be writing, it could be, and creating is also about manifesting. So this is about, getting acquainted with your energy and how to manifest, how to create things, whether it's in an artistic way or in more of a like manifesting kind of way. But the Page of Wands, the important thing to realize with this card is that this is about learning and experimenting and just kind of playing around and having fun with it. So if you're wanting to get good at something, the best way to get good at that is to practice. And the best way to ensure that you practice is to make sure that your practice time is fun and it's engaging and you like to do it. Like I never would have learned tarot if practicing tarot wasn't that much fun. If I found, reading about the cards and interacting with the cards was boring and hard to do, I would have given up within days. Right now, I'm learning a new language and I love learning a new language. I love practicing speaking it and writing it. It's so much fun. And because I'm having so much fun, I'm, it's not hard for me to practice every single day. And the pages, because the pages are students, the message is also to take the pressure off yourself. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be good at something. Allowing yourself to experiment, give yourself permission to be bad at something. That's really the best way to learn. Yeah, so that's that's what I'm getting from the Page of Sticks. Okay, so I have time for one more. I'll do one more card and then I'll close things down. And I'm sorry for everyone who've been posting questions and I haven't been able to answer your question. I wish I could answer. I wish I could pull a card for everyone, but I am a slow reader. I spend a lot of time on each card. I should actually do a live where I do just like lightning round of readings. Maybe I'll do that right now. I'm going to experiment with doing like 3 super quick readings. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, so all right, Roberta. Will I keep this job or will I go back to being a social worker? Okay. So I'm going to do a lightning round. I'm going to try to read really fast. Okay, so Roberta, you got King of Blades. King of Blades. King of Swords. Okay, so this King of Swords is ice climbing. He's climbing a sheer cliff of ice. This makes me think of something super challenging. And it almost feels to me like when I first looked at this card, I felt tired. I was like, oh, this looks hard. But then as I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, but people that do this choose to do this because they like a challenge. So I think what's important, Roberta, you said, will I keep this job or will I go back to being a social worker? And I don't know what your situation is, if this is like what you're choosing to do or what opportunities are available to you at this time, but it feels like you need something challenging. You're not satisfied sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So whatever job is the most challenging for you, I think is the right move because you seem to thrive on a challenge. Okay, I don't know if that was really lightning round fast. I'm gonna do one more, or no, 2 more. I said I was gonna try to do 3 really fast ones. Okay, Jenny Gypsy CT. I would love to pull a card. Oh, you'd love to pull a card for me. Well, thank you. Oh, Swirl, you asked a question 3 times. I'll answer your question. And Swirl, I think your question was about, I did see it. Something about learning tarot. Let's see. Where are you? Can I have a card on what to do with my tarot learning? Okay, so Swirl Tarot. 1 lightning speed tarot reading for you. Ooh, the moon. Oh, I love this card. Okay. So what can you do with your tarot learning? So I think your tarot, tarot is so mysterious. And I think that with your tarot learning, you're tapping into that mysterious hidden realm of life. I think you can use tarot to explore your subconscious. I think you can use tarot to explore the world of dreams, to explore the hidden aspects and the mysterious things. I think that that might be what originally attracted you to tarot in the first place. And maybe after you've been reading for a while, you feel like you've lost that initial intrigue or that spark. But using the tarot to explore the hidden realms and the mysterious realms is something to emphasize with your tarot learning. Okay, one last card, super fast. Let's see. Okay. Jenny says, my professional tarot business is really starting to take off. Can you pull a card and see if there's a specific niche that I should follow? Yes. 5 of Vessels. So 5 of Cups. Actually, I'll show it to you so you can really look. So there's a bird's nest with some beautiful blue robin's eggs and a poisonous looking snake threatening it. So 5 of Cups. A niche. To me, this points to a crisis, some sort of crisis point, someone losing, this bird is about to lose its eggs. There's some sort of crisis happening here. So perhaps you really like reading for people that are in a point of crisis where they're not sure what to do. They're maybe really stressed out about something. Maybe you really like doing readings for people that are in that kind of place in their lives where, they're struggling with something. That's one possibility. But then if I look at all the symbols, not together, but on their own, we have the symbol of the eggs, which is something that is yet unhatched, possibility. An egg is a symbol of possibility, what's possible. So I think your readings will help people discover what is possible. And then there is the nest, which is a symbol of safety. Your readings may help people create a feeling of safety in some, or not safety, but what's the word? The nest just makes me think of, creating a sacred space for something to unfold, holding a space. That's what I meant to say. So you, as the tarot reader, are holding a space for the person you're reading for. And you're holding a space for what is possible, what might be possible for them. And then we have the symbol of the snake, which in this particular image, it's kind of a threat. But the symbol of the snake is really a symbol of renewal. And so perhaps your readings help people find that sense of rebirth and renewal. And then we have the robin who's in flight. So perhaps your readings help people, and I know I'm not being super specific about a specific niche, but perhaps your readings help people take flight and find their wings. And then we have this beautiful symbol of the flowers as well. So there's an unfolding. So perhaps your readings help others really unfold and blossom. So lots of interesting symbols here going on. Uh, oh, nice. So Jenny, it sounds like that makes sense to you. All right. Okay, so one last card. I'm going to draw one for do one for Angelina. Could you please do a reading? What do I need to know about a new side hustle I'm starting? Okay, Angelina. New side hustle. 3 of Stones. Oh, okay. So 3 of Stones shows people, it looks like they're mining for gold or something, or crystals. They're unearthing crystals from the earth. And they're all working together as a team. What do I need to know about my new side hustle? I think collaborating with others might be helpful and not trying to do everything on your own. That's the biggest thing that I get from this card. So hopefully that makes sense and that's helpful. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for joining me. Just a quick reminder that my 4-week tarot course starts next week. I'd love to see you in my class. I'll post the link to where you can learn more about it. So it's 4 weeks, a 4-week course, and I have created videos and worksheets where I share all my knowledge on intuitive tarot reading. And then we get together every week for a live Q&A over Zoom. So that's your chance to hang out with me, chat, ask me your questions. And for me, that's the most fun that I have in the class is doing those Q&As. So it's a lot of fun. And there's also a Facebook group for people in the course too. So that's a fun thing where you can kind of socialize with the other students and interact with me, ask me questions. And you get lifetime access to the course. And everything is fully downloadable. So I can't wait to have you join me in that course. It's called the Daily Tarot Girls Guide to Intuitive Tarot Reading. Last day to sign up is Tuesday. So I hope to see you there. And thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. And have a good weekend. It's Friday. So have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.